Hello, everybody. I'm Brian,
And I'm Brian.
and this is Brian versus Brian. One name, two opinions. Episode 132. Mars Attacks. No, we're not reviewing the 1962 Topps card series. We're reviewing the 1995. Is it 5 from 95? 1995 film.
Yeah, 95, 96, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So Mars Attacks, or why Tim Burton? Okay.
A weird departure for him, yeah.
Now I want to know. Yeah, December 13th, 1996. This is the very end of 96. This is almost 97, dog.
Mm-hmm.
You creeping into 97, dog. Okay. Wow. So budget 70 million. I heard they went way over that. I don't know. We'll just read this ridiculous cast.
Yeah, it's stacked.
Coming. Christmas 1996. Jack Nicholson, Glenn Close, Pam Grier, Annette Bening, Pierce Brosnan, Danny DeVito, Martin Short, Sarah Jessica Parker, Rod Steiger, Tom Jones, Lucas Haas, Natalie Portman, Jim Brown, Lisa Marie, Sylvia Sidney, and Michael J. Fox in Mars Attacks. Fuck you, Independence Day.
Even like the opening credits is just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I was watching, I was like, whoa, really? All right. It's like Roland Emmerich couldn't get a cast like this together. Suck it. Only the pulling star power of Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Don't worry, most of these people are unimportant and absolutely not used to any of their potential. So,
Except for Nicholson. I think Nicholson is easily the standout, and we'll get into why. But not that it's the most amazing performance ever, but the things that they make him do is pretty fun. But someone like Michael J. Fox is like, why even? I guess if Tim Burton calls, you're going to say yes, but it's very small.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to be the biggest fish in a pond the size of a fucking drinking glass, I guess.
Yeah.
This fucking movie. So they tried to get a Mars Attacks movie made in the 80s before Burton. What's it say here? So final budget came to 80 million. They spent another 20 million on marketing for this fucking thing. This thing I remember was around, man. You remember? Yeah. This thing was around. They had toys and shit. And after the movie, I was like, they had toys for this. Why the fuck did they have toys for this? Mm-hmm. Like, who the fuck is playing? When you guys want to play Mars Attacks? It was such a fun action ride, man. Give me the toys. It was like, I couldn't understand it. And so Industrial Light and Magic does the computer animated Martians, which look like fucking garbage. Mm-hmm. Garbage. And so it's hard to enjoy the movie now because they just look like garbage.
I remember back then being a kid, in 96, so I was 10. I remember like, this is so cool. Like just the graphic, not the movie, but the graphics. So it was like, this is amazing. But yeah, today it doesn't really hold up.
Yeah, ILM too. They did fucking Jurassic Park before this. Mm-hmm. Jurassic Park looks way better than this.
Flawless, yeah.
Way better than this. So they were hired after previous plan to use stop motion animation, just so Burton.
Yeah.
That one, I think that would have been much better. Even, it looks like stop motion, but it gives it a more grounded feel than these fucking waxy, super shiny aliens.
Yeah.
And it's Burton, so it would have fit right in. That fell through because of money issues, budget limitations. It's like making the clay figures cost more than the fucking doing your whole movie in CG in 1996. It's like, what the
That's
fuck?
insane.
Really? That was the
Yeah.
cheaper option? Well, it's probably that's probably why we got the product we got. Well, what's your budget here? ILM's like, ooh, that ain't gonna be no Jurassic Park graphics. I'll tell you that right now. This is about what I could do for that. It shows them the rendering. And I don't have to do, I guess.
Or they could just fucking get rid of half of your cast, the money that you spent hiring these people, and put that towards stop motion.
So movie starts with that giant fucking. I fast forwarded it. I'm tired of this. Giant cast. Dun, 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 dun. Spaceships in space looking like shit, and then flying name cards, and then there's some creepy 40s science fiction music. Dun, 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 bum, 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 bum. Mm-hmm. And then we start with the beginning's pretty funny. One of the few funny parts. This is a comedy. I don't know where the comedy part lies. So you get this Asian guy standing there. Some redneck kind of looking dude comes over. What the hell did he say to him? What is it, Korean New Year? He's like, what do you mean? I smell you over here cooking up a feast. That's not me. Oh, Korean New Year. Like, what the fuck?
That was pretty good.
And then they see something on the horizon, and a giant herd of burning cattle run by.
Mm-hmm.
Alive and burning with some shittily rendered fire, thrown onto their backs. And then the saucer. Mm-hmm. Oh, Jesus. This is what happens when you make a film based on a fucking a card game.
Yeah.
Not a card game, a fucking card set. It's like there's no, it's just pictures and a short tiny story on like 16 collectible cards that come with bubblegum. That's a movie right there. And this is how they looked on the cards, these aliens. So there was no design really involved. They just kind of made this the movie. And then where do we go to from then? So we're introduced to what? Who is that black lady, the mom?
Pam Grier.
Is that Grier? Okay.
Yeah.
I almost thought that was like Vivica A. Fox. That's Independence Day.
Yeah.
This is so similar. They tried, the kids and this saving the day. So I thought, because I remember watching this movie as a kid a lot and liking it, and I remember the one part you could really relate to was the kids like saving the day.
Yeah.
I think the older one's Ray J. I'm not even sure the older kid, but watching it now, that was literally 3 minutes. And I was like, "What?" That was always like, "Oh yeah, that's the part you play." I'm the kid who's saving the day. It's like, dude, it was 3 minutes.
But it's arguably the funniest part of the movie. Like, we were dying because, like, I guess we're
the president out of here.
That was so fucking funny because it's so absurd and ridiculous. These two little kids with these guns. Come on, what are you doing standing around? Let's gotta get this president out of here. It's like
they always skip school to play this alien light gun game. And that's what that first scene where she sees him at the arcade. Oh, hell no. Stops the bus. Lady, I got to go to work. Gets on out and grabs him, throws him on the bus. A bus applause.
Yeah.
What a courageous mom. And they're like, school's canceled. And I believe them because we found aliens. I think school was canceled and you're beating them, But yeah, it's a ridiculous premise. Like, two kids learn to save the world from the game everyone said was useless. Mars attacks. So yeah, this movie. I mean, we can go through the whole. There's no story really, right? Aliens show up. The president, which is played by Jack Nicholson in his dual role. So this is his first part. He learns about it, and they're kind of throughout the movie. Well, they're firstly concocting up a way to communicate, and then meet them, which doesn't go well. some killing, but then, well, maybe that was a mistake. Let's try it again. They were scared. They were scared of the dove.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have doves on their planet. And then they try again. And I think that was at that point they wanted to apologize to Congress and they blow up Congress. And then I don't think there's a third meeting. I think the third time is when they come into his like chamber, right? The president chamber.
Yeah, they invade, I think, after that.
So there's like the story as they come, they invade, and all the while we're thrown around with like 12 characters, the giant cast, none of which you care about, none of which have any story to them. They're just, one-sided shitty characters. Like Michael J. Fox is just the arrogant CNN reporter. That's who he is. He cares about his hair. And then Sarah Jessica Parker is a stupid ditzy like fashion reporter who's now reporting on aliens. Pierce Brosnan is the smart science guy who knows about aliens and always has a fucking pipe in his mouth.
I liked him a lot in this movie. He's pretty good.
Every fucking scene, he's gonna bite on it. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Why? Every fucking scene, like it's way more like scientific if I say it with a pipe exiting or entering my mouth.
Yeah. More intellectual. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
And who else? Jim Brown. They got the fucking running back, Jim Brown. Big Jim Brown plays an ex-heavyweight champion of the world who now works at fucking Caesars or something. Or what's that pyramid fucking casino?
Oh, yeah. What is that called? Is that the Luxor?
Yeah, something like that. He probably works there, and he's like a fucking King Tut dude. There's this other chick who joins them from their casino at some point. I don't know. It's like, why is she with you?
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. I was like, what the fuck?
They never even introduced. It's just some chick with really nice tits and a little outfit. I was like, who is this? Like, what? We didn't even talk to her or really establish her. And now she's part of the
part of the group in one scene.
Part of the group. Can I come with you guys? I was like, what the fuck? Did I miss something, dude? Danny DeVito was like, oh my god,
like criminally, underused. I love Danny DeVito. He was barely in the movie.
He's just like, it's like a ridiculous. Hey, I'm here every time. Like, hey, I do Tim Burton movies. I just love it when all the aliens are invading, and he's like, "Am I the only one playing craps here?"
Like, come on, man! Come on, man! He like throws them down. Everyone's watching the fucking TV.
And then he sees the alien when they're walking, and hey, I'm a lawyer. You guys are gonna need a lawyer, huh? Come on, invading the planet. You're gonna need a lawyer. What do you want to watch? It's a Rolex. Come on. And then there's the hippie girl, just one-dimensional hippie, thinks the aliens are here to save the planet. Oh god, it's bad. I don't get this movie. It's not funny. It's not. I can't decide. I can't figure out what it's trying to be. Is it trying to be a funny B movie? Because it's not funny. Or is it trying to somewhat be a serious movie disguised as a B movie, actually have some spectacle, which it doesn't really have either. The very few practical shots are the best ones. Like they blow up the Big Ben. Like you can tell it's a fucking toy when they blow that up. That looks pretty good. And then every time they have to switch the alien to a physical, like rubber body, so they can like touch it or move it or interact with it, those look pretty good. I was like, dude, get some little people in some fucking suits, and this would have looked amazing because those suits looked good. But there's very, very few of that. So I can't, like, it doesn't do either well at all. So it's like, what is this movie for? What was Tim Burton thinking? Like, what did you think this movie was gonna do for your career or anything? Yeah. And I don't remember what movies he had around this time. I think he just came off of Ed Wood, didn't he?
I think so, yeah. Which is another movie that everyone praises, and I've never seen. I really want to watch it because I like movies about making movies, and apparently Ed Wood was like one of the worst fucking filmmakers ever. So I do want to watch that. But yeah, and that was critically praised. That was like one of his best movies. So yeah, just kind of weird to transition from something like that to the. I think. Well, I guess he didn't direct Nightmare on Elm or not Nightmare, Nightmare Before Christmas. He didn't direct it, but I think he's also coming off of producing that too. So yeah, it is kind of a weird. And I don't know, like it's clearly spoofing like alien invasion movies from like the 40s and 50s, but I have no kind of connection to those. Like the only movie I've seen in that era is War of the Worlds, like the original one, which is a really good movie. But other than that, I mean, I think it's just spoofing on those, but without like having any sort of, reverence for those. I'm just kind of like, okay, this movie is very bizarre. Like I agree with you in a sense that it's not funny, although I think there are some pretty, like I did chuckle a few times. I didn't laugh. Like when I'm watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I'm fucking laughing my ass off.
Well, thank God you chuckled at this comedy.
But I think
I didn't laugh, but I chuckled. Like that's great praise for a comedy.
Yeah. So yeah, like the scene with the two kids and the president, I thought that was pretty funny. I think there's a line that Nicholson delivers I thought was pretty good. He's like giving the speech in the war room, and he's like, "All right, the people out there only have 2 out of the 3 forms of government, and that ain't bad." Like that whole speech I thought was pretty good. I think his dual performance of that fucking
I like that Texas Vegas casino owner.
Yeah, he was pretty great. But as a movie, in a way, it kind of reminded me of Caddyshack in a way, and that Caddyshack is all these little bits that kind of form itself into a movie. But Caddyshack is actually fucking funny, and it does kind of come together when the plot decides to kick in towards the end. And this movie is kind of like that. It's just all these little bits, but the movie doesn't really go anywhere, and it doesn't really mean anything. It's just kind of like washes over you. Like you said, there's no characters to care about, nothing to connect to. I do like the idea of Mars Attacks, how they approached it of like, what if aliens invaded and they were just a bunch of assholes, like a bunch of teenager fucking assholes? Because that's kind of what they're like. Yeah. I also like their voices too. Their voices are pretty iconic. So good. But yeah, this was a weird one. I hadn't seen it since '90s. I remember seeing it in theaters and being like, okay. Even as a kid, I was like, all right, the graphics were cool, but I hadn't seen it since then. And yeah. By the way, for the audience, I'm the one that chose this movie this week. And typically, when we get together and we talk about what we're gonna do, and it's like clear that we're gonna do like a retro movie, I'm almost like instinctively always. Like I always go to the 90s for some reason. Like I'm just really connected to 90s movies. That's kind of our era. And actually what I wanted to do was a movie called Sudden Death. And I bought Sudden Death like a month ago. And I wanted a reason to kind of rewatch it. And I was like, fuck yeah, we're going to do Sudden Death, baby. And then, have you seen that?
Is that the Seagal or the Van Damme?
It's the Van Damme where he takes his kid to the Stanley Cup Finals and the
yeah. Yeah,
I fucking love it. Yeah, it's a great movie. That's the one I really wanted to do. But then I looked at all the streaming stuff and I didn't see it there. I'm like, well, I don't want to force Brian to fucking pull your arm to rent it. So all right, I'll just scroll HBO, and then I just kind of scroll and saw Mars Attacks. I'm like, oh, fucking Mars Attacks. I remember that movie, and so I kind of just went with it. But yeah, it's a weird one, man. Like I chuckled a few times, but other than that, yeah, it's not a very good movie at all. Not very memorable.
I was just watching it like, what the fuck? I wasn't enjoying myself. I was like, man, what did I see in this movie as a kid, and why did anyone go watch this movie? It's very strange. Everything from it is like stolen from somewhere else. The ending is fucking ridiculous and so terrible. So they kill the aliens by happening to find out they play Slim Whitman songs, and their fucking heads blow up for some fucking reason. Yeah. It's like, what? And even that was originally created by one of the writers when he worked at WNBC in 1982 in a sketch named Slim Whitman versus the Midget Aliens from Mars. Hey, I got a fucking ending.
Oh my
This
god.
has already happened in my brain. It's like, dude, what?
What the fuck?
This is ridiculous. Oh, not only did this shitty ending happen once, this has already been written. Oh my god.
And it's funny because when it happens, I was like, okay, so all these alien movies, they have to have some sort of weakness, right? And I was thinking, okay, they chose music, and I was like, that's a little. Oh, fine, I'll take it. Music is the thing that blows their brains. But then I was like, oh, wait a minute, it's not music. It's this specific song, because like when they're on Tom Jones's stage, Tom Jones is playing music and they're dancing behind the microphone. So I was like, oh, it's not music. It's just this particular song. Like, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah. There's another good one. Hey, you're Tom Jones. It ain't unusual. Hey, can I get an autograph? Anybody got a pen?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, why the fuck you have Tom Jones in this? Like, what the fuck is going on?
No idea.
So, what was I gonna say? There's Roger L. Jackson, best known for his voice of Ghostface, and the Scream makes an uncredited appearance as the voice of the Martian translator device. Oh, really? Huh.
Okay.
Oh, his performance in Mars Attacks, that voice got him an audition for Scream. So, hey, it worked out.
Nice.
But, yeah, I don't know, man. This is fucking weird. Played by Slim Whitman. Yeah. I thought I remembered, in my recollection, was the kids doing more to save the Earth. And I thought I remembered it was water. And they had squirt guns. Is that an alien movie? Do you remember? Was that in something? Were they using like water and squirt guns to save the Earth from aliens?
When you said that, the only thing that popped in my mind is there's a Tales from the Crypt movie with Dennis Miller called Bordello of Blood, and then the finale of that, they all have super soakers and they're like spraying vampires with holy water. That's the only thing I can think of that came to my mind.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I amalgamated some of that, but I was like, I thought it was squirt guns, but they actually had the laser guns of the aliens. And they look very funky when the kids grab them because they're practical, and they look, they're not fucking shiny and shitty looking, so they look very different. It's like you pulled something out of a cartoon into the real world, and it just looks off. Sylvia Sidney from Beetlejuice. Yeah. I mean, I've never seen Ed Wood either, but I imagine it's better. I mean, he's got Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Johnny
Depp. Oh yeah, Ed Wood. Yeah, I really want to watch
that era is fucking kills it. And from what I've seen of it, he's got a strange accent and a strange thing he's doing. Whenever he picks a strange thing to do, it usually goes pretty good.
Yeah.
When he's doing something weird. Except fucking Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, what that fucking train wreck.
Oh, hi. Bubblegum is gross. Bubblegum I hate the most. On designing The Martian. Oh. Okay. Oh yeah, that was a kind of funny part. The Martian in disguise. There's a woman with giant pointy breasts.
Yeah, the Martin Short bit, that was pretty good.
Just like gliding through. Played by Lisa Marie Smith, Burton's girlfriend.
I did like that. They call this the Kennedy Room, and I thought that whole sequence was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, that scene. Yeah, Martin Short. It's kind of crazy watching this because like Martin Short, all these people look really young.
Yeah,
it's like, dang, dude, Martin Short. These people are like 70 now. It's nuts. It's like Martin Short looking good. So yeah. So who did the scores? Danny Elfman.
Hell yeah, you did.
To whom Burton was reconciled. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's got a lot of dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Some, science fiction kind of creepy fare you would expect.
Yeah, I love Danny Elfman. I think Hans Zimmer's kind of taken over the conversation in terms of like scores, but man, the John Williams, Danny Elfman days, man, they got some iconic shit.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about fucking it, I guess. Oh yeah, Jack Black is in it too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Jack Black.
Fucking ridiculous. Um, and then this kid, that long-haired kid, he's kind of like the Gilbert Grape character. He's just kind of got a poor white trash family, kind of just trying to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Works at a donut shop, which he always brings up. It's like when they do their symbol, which we come to find out means Mars, and the guy's like, "Oh, they're making the international symbol for donut." Huh. which is a funny joke to think about, but when I was watching the movie, I didn't laugh. And later, he's like, "You want a donut, Mom? How old are they? They're fresh baked 6 days ago." That's 6 days old. I'll take a couple. And then he's dropping off his grandma. It's like, okay, Grandma, I'm gonna go. Just give me a call if you need anything, like if you need me to bring by some donuts. Bye. Like, oh my god. So, anyways, I think this movie is a waste of time and a train wreck. Looks like shit. Plays like shit. I don't know of a Tim Burton movie that I would think is worse than this. I'm not a big fan of Tim Burton, but I think his movies are decent, like Scissorhands. Obviously, the Batmans are pretty good.
Yeah.
I can't really think of much else he's done, actually. But I mean, they're decent ones. They're not really my cup of tea, but nothing like this. I was like, fuck, this is terrible.
Beetlejuice, another good one.
Yeah. Beetlejuice, great one. They always have a style. This one didn't seem to even have his style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of, for a minute, I felt almost like a Edward Scissorhands. It was like a 90s version of that, like the colors and the utopia, but it doesn't really stick with it very much.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't even feel like it had his signature on it, really. Yeah, I mean, I was just getting through it. I was just like, wow, this movie's bad. I don't remember that just sucking and really having no point, and being a movie where it's not a good alien movie, it's not a good comedy. I was just like, man, and you come out in the same year as Independence Day, and obviously people are just going to compare the two alien movies, even though they have nothing to do with each other. And it even says in this thing I was reading that they changed the ending to make it more similar to Independence Day. And I was like, what?
Wow.
Like, you don't want your movie compared to it at all. Yeah, so I came away with a way lower score than I thought I was going to come away with. I'm 4.3.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm a
garbage.
It stinks. I think I'm a little softer on it, but I mostly agree with you. I think you and I are mostly aligned. I do think, some of the bits worked for me maybe a little more than it maybe landed for you. Like, I think there are some, maybe I didn't laugh, but there are some like good chuckle moments of like when they're in the ship and Pierce Brosnan's head's just floating there and she's on a dog body and she's like, "Were you flirting with me?" It's just like this so fucking absurd and ridiculous that I kind of just chuckle at the absurdity of what I'm seeing. And that's kind of like a lot of the movie where I'm just like, this is all absurd and I'm kind of chuckling at it. I like Charlie Chaplin type silly bits. Like there's one, it's not a body humor, but there's this small little bit where they blow up the monument in DC. I forget what it's called, that huge like tower.
Yeah,
these little kids are like running in one direction, so they make it so it's trying to fall on them, but then they run in the other direction and they come and like tilt it to kill the children. So there's like a lot of like chuckly moments like that. But again, to your point, it doesn't really amount to anything, and you don't really care about anything. So it's just a bunch of random ass scenes with, you know, sometimes good bits, sometimes not. But yeah, so I'm giving it like a 5.5. So I'm a little bit above you. But still, it's not a good movie. I'd rather watch a different Tim Burton movie or a different comedy. But yeah.
Yeah, 5.5, 4.3. It's great.
It's a great one. Man, I should have found Sudden Death, that movie. For those of you who don't know, this is a movie where Jean-Claude Van Damme kills a terrorist in the Penguins mascot outfit. So in other words, that movie is a masterpiece.
I remember it not having a lot of action for a Van Damme movie. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a really long time. Like I said, I bought it like a month ago for $5, and I just haven't got a chance to get around to watch it.
Like, it has a lot of story. Like, it has a really good story for a Van Damme movie, but not as much action as a normal Van Damme movie, from what I recall. Yeah, Mars Attacks, man. Okay.
Some people really like this movie. I wouldn't consider it like cult classic in our zeitgeist, but I do, from time to time, I do hear people either on podcasts or just kind of out in the world that talk really highly, like an underrated masterpiece that's out there. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, when you're the Sarah Jessica Parker part with Pierce Brosnan, that looked like such shit.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was hard to enjoy it. Like her head on the dog, it was so bad looking.
Yeah.
And it's like she's like staring off at a reference point or something, and it's not very good, you know. It's like, wow, boo. Jesus. Yeah. I mean, if you've seen it before, you don't need to see it again. You're okay. You'll be okay. What a pull! What a pull for HBO to get this on there. You know, if Last of Us doesn't work out, this is an avenue they could go.
They got Mars Attacks in the library.
Mars Attacks, the series.
Yeah, it's so funny. We watched Babylon last night, and like the fucking polar opposites of it was like a weird whiplash kind of a day between Mars Attacks and Babylon. I was like, Jesus. Which I recommend. That movie's fucking wild, man. That was a wild, wild movie.
Wild stuff. Wow. Wild stuff. Okay. You say it's a movie now. Okay, wild.
Lots of cocaine and drugs and elephant pooping on cameras and golden showers and starring Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie.
Wow,
check it out, everybody.
Have y'all heard about this? Babylon. Wild stuff. All right. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Sorry to disappoint you with our scores for Mars Attacks. Sorry we couldn't give it 10s. I mean, we really wanted to bring home the Oscar for Mars Attacks.
Yep.
Just didn't play out that way.
Yeah.
You know, we watch it so you don't have to. All right. Please like and subscribe. Please check us out. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. We're here on YouTube. All the places but Mars. So, act.
Oh, I had a question for you, actually, before we close. You had mentioned Ant-Man. Is Loki required for that, do you think? I have a week before it comes out. I'm just curious, should I watch? I mean, you've always been pushing for me to watch Loki just in general.
Isn't there 2 seasons of Loki now, though?
I think there's only one. I think it's just the one.
I would watch Loki. I don't think it's super required, because I think it's a multiverse thing where Kang isn't really the same Kang.
Oh, I see.
But they do discuss some stuff of Kang that I think will be incorporated. Like, you know, I would watch it.
Okay. Man. All right, I got a week. I can bust it out.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. It's gonna be, wow, this is really great stuff. Wow. Wow, he's from like another dimension. Wow. So, yeah, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. And go enjoy that Super Bowl today, everybody. Go Eagles. So until the next Vs, we say,